So, after episode 2, we are finally going to see Kane back in with the Taharis and working with Monet again, but it's not going to be as straightforward as he thinks. Diana knows he was the one who switched up the product, so his loyalty will still be questioned, with Diana released anyway. We're going to see the aftermath of Zeke being taken by Detective Whitman and being questioned, and Monet definitely won't be happy about this, because this is one of the images from episode 3. And there aren't too many images from episode 3, but there are a few images from Instagram that we'll go through later on in this video. Now, Mecha will still want to keep a stronghold and control over those people around him, including Kane, Monet, and Tariq as well. So we're going to see more from Mecha and hopefully learn more about his backstory and history. Something I really do hope we see in this episode as well is more of Lorenzo. We've only seen one small scene from him so far, but things are starting to get real for Monet outside, because Drew and Diana are making plans behind her back, and Kane's also out for himself, as we all know, so she started to lose control. And with Lorenzo in prison, it's not like he could do much, so we could see Mecha taking advantage of this whole Taharis split, which we're seeing. Now, there was also this, which was released by Ghost Stars yesterday, and if you saw the trailer, you knew Kane would be meeting Brayden with Tariq in this spot. Now, we all know Kane took a liking to Brayden after season 1 episode 6, where Brayden passed his first test, and I do think we could see Kane testing Brayden again, which could very well be the jewellery heist that we saw in the season trailer, which may not be in episode 3, because I do think it is too soon to see that scene. But let's see how this meeting between Brayden and Kane goes, because I do think we're going to see them working together at some point soon. But we're going to go through all things episode 3, including the synopsis as usual. But of course, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Universe related. Let's start with the synopsis for episode 3, which is titled The Greater Good, and we're going to see Tariq trying to keep course correct from going under. Diana grows wary of Kane's motives, and Zeke's future gets put at risk, and nobody can find Monet. And we're going to be breaking down the synopsis as usual, but what is the greater good? Every episode seems to have a theme. Now, episode 2 was everyone being out for themselves and making choices that benefited themselves. Kane, Drew, Diana, all of them making their own moves, but what is the greater good? This is something we're going to hear Tariq telling Kane after this meeting between Monet, Kane, and Tariq, where she'll tell them they're all in business together and they need to squash their beef, not knowing that they've already squashed their beef and they're working together to make sure they both stay out of jail for the murder of Jabari. But the greater good in this instance is going to be Tariq, who's thinking about the bigger picture. In this episode, he'll be thinking more than just about himself, because the greater good is the greatest possible outcome for a number of individuals, and that includes Kane and the rest of the Taharis. So keeping himself and Kane out of jail to start with, and then the greater good has to be making sure nothing comes back on them, for example on Zeke. But as we all know, Zeke is going to be taken in by Detective Whitman, as we saw in the last episode. He came out of Carrie's place and she told him that she was with him between the hours of 7 PM and 11 PM, the night Jabari was killed. So is Zeke going to be Carrie's alibi? Probably not, because that would be way too easy for Carrie to get off the hook if he confirms that he was there with Carrie. And plus, we all know McClane seems like he will be working for Carrie as a lawyer at some point, because in this season trailer we hear McClane telling Carrie, "What did you get me into?" So I think Carrie is one of the main suspects for the long haul this season, and she's already started to dig her own grave by lying to Detective once already. But we're going to see Monet strolling through the precinct after she hears about Zeke being taken in for questioning, and she's going to be fuming that he's been dragged into this whole situation with Jabari's death, because she told Tariq, "You better not make sure that nobody's looking in your direction, and certainly not in the direction of any of the Taharis, especially Zeke." This is the last thing she needs as he enters the NBA draft, because no team will touch him if he's linked to a murder, so Zeke's future will definitely be at risk. Now this is why we're probably going to see Kane rolling up to Tariq's room at Stansfield in this episode and giving him this big right hook, because Zeke is going to be in danger as he gets questioned. Now he told Kane that the main suspect is going to be Carrie, and Kane told him that you better make sure she takes the weight for Jabari's death, which Tariq could have made damn sure she did in her desk. But after he overheard her telling Tate that he was a good kid, he changed his mind, and I think she's probably the only one left, as well as Lauren, who thinks Tariq is a good kid, because everyone pretty much knows what Tariq is all about. But I definitely expect that to change with both Lauren and Carrie later on this season, as they start to learn more about Tariq, and I'll get to Lauren in a bit more detail later on in this video. But Kane won't be happy, so he'll be questioning Tariq. What's the plan? What's the next move? Because their plan to frame Ramirez is about to be thrown out the window, especially when Detective Whitman finds his body, which may be in the next episode or maybe in the episodes to come. But this is something we will definitely see soon, because we've seen this image in the season trailer. But just before we move on from Zeke and this whole murder investigation, this girl definitely can't be overlooked, the way she was questioning Zeke while they were sleeping together, and how she was taking a video of him being taken by the detective is definitely going to come back round, that's for sure. As Monet warns Zeke, he's going to be a target for these girls and everyone else as well, and she's the only one with his best interests at heart. And Zeke is also someone who knows about course correct now after Drew let it slip. Now we're going to see Tariq trying to save what he and Brayden built. But will Zeke slip up about course correct? I do feel he will slip up with something, because I really don't trust him to keep his mouth shut, especially if they put his basketball career on the line. But either way, he's funny as shit, and this encounter with Detective Whitman will definitely give us a few laughs with whatever Zeke says, or with his facial expressions. But let's talk about Tariq and this new spot he's going to be hiding his stash, which is this rooftop, which nobody knows about apart from Lauren and her brother. And Gianni, who plays Brayden, recently posted this on his Instagram on the same rooftop, so it's definitely going to be something we see often, but also such a dangerous place for Tariq, because Lauren knows how to get up here, and this is how she could find out that Tariq is dealing drugs, because I do expect her to find out at some point that Tariq has this double life. And then what does Tariq do? How does he talk his way out of this situation? Would he even be able to talk her around? It'll be another dilemma thrown Tariq's way, and a very similar dilemma to which Ghost faced with Angela. A lot of these situations that Tariq is facing, for example with Rashad Tate, Simon Stern, and Lauren to name a few, is similar to the issues that Ghost had. What they're basically showing us is that Tariq is going through some of the same situations Ghost had to go through, and at some point, he'll start to realize what it took for Ghost to get to the top and stay at the top, and by the end, he'll probably realize why Ghost wanted out of the game as well. Whether or not we see this third option that he spoke of when he told Tasha that he found another way of it not ending up dead or in jail, we're gonna have to wait and see, and something we probably won't see until a few seasons time. But let's talk about Diana next, and how she's gonna start stepping up, because we saw how cleverly she manufactured a way where Tariq would owe her, because she lied to him and told him that Monet was pissed about the drugs, and she said she smoothed it over with her, and she really is starting to learn and come into her own. She's also going to be looking at Kane very closely to see what his motives are and where his loyalties lie, and with Monet missing for some reason, someone will have to step up, and that person could very well be Diana. This is where she can really start to prove Monet wrong in her absence if Monet is missing, because we keep hearing Monet telling Diana that she's not ready, she can't study and move weight at the same time, but she definitely will prove Monet wrong, and she will really start to see that Diana does have what it takes. But it's what Diana does which people may not like. Now, she recently said in an interview, I would say Diana is really getting close to finding her independence, because at the end of the day, she's still a part of a real powerful family, and how far can you really step out? She's gonna dance around it for sure, but she's trying her best to get that full independence. Now, Diana may upset a few people, just wait and see. I think what Diana is doing this season is good, because she's finally saying, forget this, I'm gonna do what I think is what's best for the family, and some people may not agree, so we'll see how everybody feels about it. So that's just some background and context to Diana and her independence, and I will leave the full article linked down below for those who want to take a read for themselves. But elsewhere, I do think we'll start to learn more about Mecca. They've already started to drop some information about his past with Monet, but who else is he apart from Dante? Was he perhaps even Rico's connect? And it definitely seems like it's a coincidence, him coming into New York, trying to step into this power vacuum, and there really being no big players around. Ghost and Tommy are gone, and the Taharis ain't exactly running things, so we may find out what Mecca's past connections to New York are. Now, there are of course 3 characters who we've still not seen, which is Cristobal, Roberto, and 2-Bit. Now, Courtney Kemp said Cristobal is in jail, so could he be in jail with Lorenzo, who could potentially tell him who Mecca is, and who Tariq's father really is? And 2-Bit is another. Where is 2-Bit? Now, just recently, someone linked me an interview on Instagram where Joseph Sikora said, Tommy left Tariq in safe hands, so I wonder who that could be, because 2-Bit is the only one I can think of. So I do think we'll see him, Cristobal, and Roberto at some point, and possibly before the mid-season break, because episode 5 is teased to be another big episode, so let's wait and see whether we see them in the next episode, or at least before episode 5. But we're also going to be seeing a bit more of Lorenzo in this episode, with whoever comes to visit him, or whoever he's seen inside with him, could potentially even be Cristobal, or even Theo Rollins, because we know they're wearing the same coloured jumpsuits, so they seem like they're in the same prison together, so I wonder how they're going to connect the dots. But it is something I'm sure we'll find out in episode 3. So that's just a rundown of some of the storylines, as well as the synopsis, and what we can expect from the next episode. So drop all your predictions and comments down below, and let me know what you think about Zeke especially. Do you think he'll slip up? Drop all your thoughts down below, and of course if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.